Hi, everyone. It's Alana Campbell again, multidimensional health psychologist from You Have a Life Plan or yourlifeplan.ca. And this is part 2 of a presentation I delivered to a group of women a couple days ago. And this is about how I'm currently using RestoreChi, because on my RestoreChi website, I have a video that gives a good introduction to how to use RestoreChi, but it's about 2-3 years old. So I thought it was time to do a little update. So part of that presentation, I showed that the reason why I use RestoreChi is kind of the laziness factor, because you can just turn it on and have it run while you sleep and be healing while you're sleeping. And you can go about your day with it around your waist, and you can heal as you go about your day, which is really convenient and very cost effective. So some of the things that can be corrected with RestoreChi can also be corrected by other means, but it's time consuming. And this is a fast way to do it. And it's very effective, like I said. It also gives us access to a true healer. So Master Yan can literally assess each of your organs or parts of your body at the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimension, because things like, let's say something happened long in your past and it affected you all the way back to the 7th, 8th dimension. Mainstream can't see that. All they can see with their machines is the 3rd dimension. And so if you look okay on the 3rd dimension, but you're injured on the 6th, 7th, 8th dimension, then they think you're normal, or you're making that up, or they don't know how to heal you. And so seeing Master Yan is really helpful. Like I said in the previous video, he can also balance the yin and yang. So the yang on top, yin on the bottom, yang at the back, yin in the front, yang on the left, yin on the right, and between the organs. And he can also do this new technique he's using called fusion, where he's basically going back to the original conception of the organs, which is super cool, and something that esoteric medicine also tries to get to. And yeah, so it's just an option for us if we go this RestoreChi route. And also for my clients, let's say they're seeing me for esoteric medicine once or twice, or once a week or every couple of weeks, then in between they could also be running tracks to clear out other stuff. So it's less session time too. Okay, so when I say access to a true healer, I also mentioned that you need to take responsibility for what's given. And I find this is because if we make the effort to heal from something and we invest in it, we change our lives, then we're probably going to hold the healing. But if we go to a healer and they heal us, sometimes we hold the healing and sometimes we don't. And so a good example of that is my daughter went to see Master Yan for the 3rd time, and he was able to heal quite a bit of her vision, which also healed quite a bit of her emotional issues, because with her double vision, it caused her to be really on edge or scared a lot of the time, which caused her to cling to me a lot, and made her yell a lot when she couldn't express herself, because she just wanted to be understood. And it was really impacting her, because that's a cycle, right? You're stressed, you can't see, you get more stressed, you can't see even more. So she has not been able to hold the healing. And so Master Yan created her a speaker, a track for the eyes. And in theory, she should be wearing this all the time, but she goes to school and I'm not going to send her to school with a speaker on her neck. So she should be wearing it whenever she's home. But, she's 7, trying to get her to wear it. It's bulky and it's uncomfortable and all this stuff. So in theory, we shouldn't play it at night, because the eyes are connected to the liver. And so at nighttime, because she was losing the healing, Master Yan said, try it at night, see what happens. So she actually sleeps really good with this on, which was surprising. But unfortunately, myself and her younger sister sleep in the same room, and we don't sleep okay with it on. So it's quite interesting, because from 1 to 3, we are tossing and turning. I'm wide awake if this track is on. The one time I slept fine through 1 to 3, it turned out the battery had died. So truly, this is effective. And so we're just trying to navigate a way to get her to be able to integrate this into her life and really see how important it is to work on the healing. And I think this is better than before in a way, even though everybody just wants to be healed and then they're fine and they can do anything they want. That's not life. Life is, if you're healed, you have a second chance to live life right. But if you don't live life right, then, what was the point? And so I kind of liken this to when they first started giving antidepressants to teenagers, a lot of them would kill themselves. And this was because when they were depressed, they didn't have the energy to kill themselves, but you give them an antidepressant, they gain the energy, the first thing they do is they kill themselves. And that's not what we want them to do. And same with RestoreChi. There are people who, might get a healing, and because they were healed so easily, take it for granted and then go do something that in theory, a soul who had learned how to heal that serious illness would not have done, and they do it, and that's it. So you have to take responsibility. If you're going to go to somebody to heal you, you also have to do all the things that a healed person, someone who understands what it takes to heal, would do. And then here I have just a note that RestoreChi provides an opportunity to learn important concepts, just like astrology. So in astrology, there's like the 4 elements and what do the planets do and what the house is for. And same here, you have the 5 elements and, kidney and bladder, but kidney and bladder also related to ears. So this kind of learning is available in the video that's currently on my RestoreChi website. So this video here. So I created it probably at the beginning of COVID to try and help people start to clear out their bodies so that when they get COVID, they will be able to handle it better. Yeah, so that's there, but I think it's time for an update. So before moving on to an update, I'll just show you, I used to have a magazine called Success Stories Using RestoreChi. There was probably 30 articles on there. I was able to retrieve maybe 10 of them. So I put them into this article, which is available on my blog, which you go to my website, yourlifeplan.ca, go to the blog and the RestoreChi category, and you'll find this. So there's probably 10 written articles. They're not pretty, like I just basically dumped them into a PDF, but the information's there if you seek it. And then there were 2 articles that I could not retrieve in text format, but I was able to retrieve myself reading those articles for you. And I think they're very important, so I've included them. One is about the 8 stages of illness, which I think we need to start understanding how illness takes root in our body and how we can prevent it at the earlier stages, even though at the later stages, there's still something that can be done. And then the other one was about treatment-resistant clients, because, it's hard to understand, well, does this modality work or not, when there's people who say, oh, I don't feel anything. Right. And so kind of working through that in my head, like, why are some people not responding to healing? And I actually wrote another article somewhere in here that talks about how to know if RestoreChi is right for you, because you have to be ready to do the work to change your life. You can't just go and get a healing, then go back to your life as it is, because your soul, if Mastrianne calls back your soul, let's say, your soul is not going to be too happy with how you're living your life. So it's going to be irritated if you go back to life as usual. So you have to be willing to make those changes. And I was quite surprised, but some people aren't. They'll read the article and go, yeah, actually, I don't really want to do my part. So this is not the healing for me. And that's totally fine. So these articles are here for you. This is Kevin. This is an IAI image of Kevin. Because he's somebody that I may refer you to. So I just want you to know there's an article here. And then this article here shows his pricing if you decide to work with him. I learned from him, he learns from Mastrianne. So he's a valuable resource. If you really want to cut to the chase and learn how it works, I basically use it as, if I know what might help, then I can just recommend, and between our sessions, try this or try that. Just so that we have less to work on in the sessions to save you money and also to help you heal faster, and so that you play a part in the healing. Okay, so my website here for RestoreChi, I try to make it as easy as possible for my clients. So it is ideal to have a device dedicated to running RestoreChi. So I have a tablet, actually I have 2, one for my husband and son, and then a speaker, Bluetooth speaker. So I recommend the ones that, I've used here. And then there's also water cards. So this is a video about water cards, cream, which I mentioned in the last video. There's also toothpaste, but that's not currently widely available, but that is super cool. The toothpaste. There's a Full Healing 9 speaker, which looks like this. Basically, it doesn't need access to the internet. You just plug it in and run it, or charge up the batteries and wear it on a belt and go. So there's a Full Healing track available with the monthly tracks, but this one is better. So it's worth having if that's something you seek. And also it's really good for people who don't want to bother with connecting to the internet and figuring out what track and making sure they're still like close enough to their device so that the Bluetooth doesn't disconnect. It can be too much for some people. So then there's a decal. So you can click on here and learn about good places to place a decal. A band, you can click here, and then that will take you to my historical article. And within there's an article about the band and how it can be used. The monthly tracks, so you can get, I think, 15 days free access to the monthly tracks, and then $30 a month for family access. So anybody in your family can use it for that price, which is really cost effective. And so that's the price without guidance. And then if you want guidance, then you can pay whomever you seek for guidance. Another way, if you want to work with Kevin, is you could have him give you a couple monthly tracks at a time. And that way you're less overwhelmed. And, obviously he'll give you the tracks that meet your need, or you can get all the tracks and then work with him or myself to really learn how to use them, when to use what. And then this track here, so if you go to lungventilator.org, that redirects to a YouTube video that Mastian has created. He explains a bit about what he's doing and why. And then you just, you never listen to the track with your ears. You always want to listen to it with your body. So you'd put it like right on your chest and you would breathe, and it would help open up your breathing. So it's helped a lot of people. And then, like I said, you can wear the speakers in a belt. So like I found this belt works great. So I've included it here. That way, you have what you need to be successful. Here's a testimonial by a woman who took her 2 children to see Mastrianne. And I think it's really important for people to read so they can understand that it's not all roses. Like you don't just heal and it's all perfect. Like you have to detox and you have to hold space for that. And kids need time with their parents to integrate and ask questions and figure out what is going on with my body. So this is a really great testimony. I'm really grateful that she wrote this for me. And then this is the story behind RestoreChi. So these things are available on my website. And if I get to how I use RestoreChi now, I'm going to continue on from what I said in the last presentation, which was I've been dealing with hip issues. And I went to the chiropractor and they said, have you been sitting a lot? And so this book, which I talked about in the previous presentation, is Sitting a Lot. So Abuse of the Seated Position is within Earth, which is having to do with spleen. So this is one great way of using RestoreChi. So here is the RestoreChi website. These are all the tracks that are available that you would run from your device onto your Bluetooth. Here is that full healing. So this is full healing 8. It's good. Full healing 9 is just better, but it doesn't mean that this is not good. So you can see there's all these tracks here. And so last night I ran spleen dampness because if I'm abusing the seated position and that's why my hips are hurting, then this should help. And so the area at the front that they said was due to sitting too much, it's mostly relieved after having played this overnight. And it's not that chiro wasn't enough, but going to the chiropractor and then adding this track, which heals it at an energy level, was helpful. Okay, so I just wanted to show you some tracks that I use a lot. I use this one a lot for my kids, small intestine, large intestine, because they tell me they have a stomach ache right around their belly button. So I use this. This is actually the lung ventilator track. It's free, or it's here. I personally have not used the hot flashes one. Dampness release, some people use, but the water cards I find are better for that. So you just take a hot bath with the water cards in, you remove the water cards and you go in, and that pulls like this thick, yucky, yellowy dampness out of you. You may, at least I experience for the next few days, have like more greasy hair because it's still trying to come out, or you could get like those kind of deep pimples that are trying to get that sort of really sticky stuff out of your body. And so that's great. You're getting all this garbage out. Anesthesia release. A lot of my clients use this after they have a procedure. I used it after I had a dental procedure. It took all the numbing away. Stomach YE. So there's the difference between stomach weak, which would mean your stomach is cold and not functioning, and stomach YE, which means it's on fire because it's like out of yin energy. So this is where you would need to work with a practitioner to figure out which one would be suitable for you. I don't really test organs, so this is where Kevin is stronger. So he can like test the organs and say, okay, actually your stomach is chill. Most often it's chill. But you know, burnout is on the YE side. So he could tell you, you know, which of these two tracks, or working with me, looking at other symptoms, we can decipher. Pancreas is really important in esogetics, and it's not talked about enough in mainstream. I'm guessing because it's so deep in our body. But you know, if something goes wrong with your pancreas, you don't have a lot of time. So it's nice that there's a track there. The gallbladder track I use a lot. Whether I feel the effectiveness, I don't know, but I do use it a lot. Actually, there was one time I had a complete stomach obstruction, and I contacted Kevin, and basically nothing would digest. Everything came back out, and he had me play. So gallbladder and liver are paired, and stomach and spleen are paired. So he had me play, I think, the stomach and the gallbladder together, and then the spleen and the liver together, and switching every 2 hours back and forth, and this cleared that obstruction. So like that's life-saving to be able to do something like that. Because when I called telehealth, they wanted me to get an ambulance and go because I thought I was having a heart attack. So, you know, I know it's only advice over the phone, but not even in the ballpark. So what else here? Varicose veins I've used, but it has not cleared my varicose veins, probably because there's more to it than that. It's an issue in me that I will, I guess, resolve when the time comes to resolve it. It doesn't hurt me at this time. And I have like a mark here, which tells me my liver still needs work. So I think we all have weaknesses in our body that we need to address when we find the tool to address it. So I mentioned I use the spleen phlegm. This spinal bone stretch is great, you know, if you're having general back pain, but there's also a low back track down here. Low back clearing the bladder meridian. And as I'm getting into meridian work, the bladder meridian goes back and forth on the back a few times, and it connects to all the organs. So, and they say that the bladder literally clears all the garbage from all the organs. So this is really great because sometimes our back pain is not actually the back, it's the organs, and this helps detox that out. Okay, so what are we? So the damp, cold, this is really important because our weather changes so quickly, and my kids don't always wear their coat outside as they should, or nor do I, if I'm honest. So this helps get that chill off, because if the chill goes in deeper, then the dampness comes in, then we have more serious illness. Bones osteoporosis, I'm not sure if I've used that track. This is like fire everywhere, have not used it, or lung tumor. Phlegmatic is basically removing garbage from your body, so it's always good. If you were to use that overnight, you would probably have a very smelly bowel movement the next day, which is great. Reconnect 5 organs. Often when we fix an organ, then we want to reconnect, which means we want the organs to work together again because you've been so focused on that one organ. Release fire. This is great for fevers. I don't use it right when there's a fever. I wait because the fever is doing a job. The fever is like trying to clear that virus, right? So we want that heat. But when it gets to the point where, you know, I think, oh, this child's getting delirious, then I would use release fire to clear it. You can also use it when people are really upset to release that yang fire. Like my daughter will get like a really red face, could use it in that instance. Anytime you would think, okay, I'm going to open the freezer and just cool that down, you can use it. Just be careful because you don't want to take away too much their fire. Cell treatment. Kind of looks scary, but it can boost your energy. It might be good if you're doing something that is hurting your cells, like some kind of exposure to chemicals or whatever. But, you know, when you kind of get into this more risky area, I would suggest have a conversation, at least with Kevin, if not Master Yan. This one, I have not been using enough, but some people have used it to help them lose weight. And weight is toxins, garbage that we don't need. So it's not about looking good, although that sells it for most people. It's just about, you know, clearing the garbage from our body, helping our body move more efficiently. This is like a massage, but more, I think about it as if like your body's starting to get a bit achy because there's debris that hasn't been cleared very well from a esoteric perspective, we'd say the mesenchyme, like we want to move all that stuff out of the muscles. Okay, so lymph balance I do use a lot because I know how important it is to move lymph. We want to process our emotions, and if we can't process them, then we get sick. So like try to keep the lymph moving. Uterus chill, I speak about in the other video, uterus and bladder chill. So these two, because if you have chill in this area, the fluids don't move because you can't create steam to have it rise up and then, you know, work with the fire. And these are all TCM kind of concepts. So I have not, I think I have used this, but I have not seen it work well for me, but my situation may have been more extreme. I've not used the Alzheimer's. Neck and shoulder pain I have used, and headache, but I don't know if they were helpful because again, I think my situation was more extreme. So these tracks are just, he's created them, they're general, but we may need more than that. Central governing, super important for getting the flow of energy. So the Reconnect 5 organs flows it kind of this way through the organs, and the central governing flows it this way. So really good track. Yeah, I don't know about these guys because I don't have that kind of severe pain, but it would be interesting to see if this could be helpful for some people. But my guess is you have severe pain, you should probably see Master Yan. Heart maintenance, I shied away from this track for a long time because it scares me to treat the heart. But I was finding that when things started to reopen post-COVID, I was getting heart palpitations when I was going to public places. And I think it's because 5G had been installed and I'm hypersensitive to EMFs. So I was struggling. So then I started using heart maintenance to help regulate, just like the lung ventilator track or the PVC prevention helps regulate your breathing again. This helps regulate your heart again, which is important. So I have used, actually at the top, there's this, let's see, where is it? The phlegm one, the uterus ovary phlegm, because I've had IVF twice, and I know that my ovary on the left side is damaged. It's actually attached to my fallopian tube now. So I'm concerned about that when I get pain in that area. So I'll use the uterus ovary phlegm. Whenever you're running a track that is phlegm on an organ other than spleen phlegm, maybe do that away from people, because spleen phlegm is good for everybody, but we don't really want each other's phlegm. But when it's like uterus phlegm and stuff like that, then we're talking about potentially precancer that we don't want releasing into the energy for somebody else to absorb. Just something to think about. Generally, our family co-sleeps, so if one person needs it, we all get exposed to it. It's kind of the risk we take of being a family. Kidney enhance, great if you have like dry mouth, helps get the water up. Because the new tracks, the fusion tracks, address the kidneys so much, I don't know how much I use it personally. Knee, leg, and foot pain, yeah, I use this a lot. This one is for, you know, it's self-explanatory. And I don't get swollen feet, so I don't personally use this. Lung fire, so this is when the cough has lingered a long time. It's very deep, but I would suggest you speak with Kevin to figure out if you have lung fire or if the sore throat common cold is a better fit for you. I've heard that sore throat track is really effective for some people. There is a constipation track, but I think constipation is more complicated than that. The gout I do use, not that I have gout, but when I have joints that hurt, I want the garbage removed from my joints. So I will use that gout track. I think there's an arthritis track too. Yeah, there's arthritis hand and feet. So I might use them together because in theory, I'm guessing the gout is like physical garbage, whereas the arthritis is negative energy, and I want them both out. Fire water balance. This is one track that actually does run through the adrenal gland, so it's good for any form of adrenal fatigue, burnout, and also I think This is one of the few ways you can build your yang a little bit. So we have a lot of yang when we're young in order to grow, and then it depletes as we get older and we start to like get the curve back and go down because we're gaining yin. So this can give you a little bit more yang in a healthy manner. It can be a way to remove fire or chill without doing chill release or fire release if you're concerned, because you can overdo chill release and fire release, whereas fire water balance you can't. The eye track, a lot of people have had success with it, but my daughter is using a super eye track because her issue is from conception, because she's an IVF child. So, you know, like this is what Master Yan does basically. If there's no track for you, if he can heal you, but you can't hold it, then if you're working with him, he'll make a specialty track. And then once he's happy with it, he may share it with other clients who are in the same situation. So there's a thyroid track here. I'm not sure about this one. Like I've used it, but I've been told that the fusion track is better. So I don't know. Chill release. Yeah, so if you have a chill, it's a good idea to play chill release and get it out, because if you see that or listen to that article, the 8 stages of illness, you don't want chill to set in and then dampness sets in and then tumors set in and all that kind of stuff. Like it is understood how we get sick, but it's not widely talked about. And we'll just leave it at that. Okay, so I've used the sciatic nerve. I'm not sure that it worked for me. I don't have high blood pressure. I mentioned the low back, clearing the meridian. Liver detox I use a lot. So spleen and liver detox, spleen, phlegm, these get recommended a lot, even though we have the fusion track. So I'm thinking these are pretty key tracks. You know, this is the center of your body, digesting the food, which provides energy. And, you know, what I'm learning in my meridian work is you have your inherited energy in your kidneys, and then you get energy from food and energy from breathing. So between the lung track and the liver, spleen, and then the fusion track, which addresses actually the kidneys and the lungs, you know, that we're covering all these important bases to keep the energy flowing. Tennis elbow, I'd say same category as the frozen shoulder. So this one is supposed to be for heartburn. I think it depends on what your heartburn is from. Vomiting also, you can use this one. Sore throat, pretty self-explanatory. Any concerns about lumps in your breath? I would say this is probably just help exit the garbage, right? Menstrual pain, slightly different than the belt meridian. You could use both. I would use both if that was your issue. And then allergy. So there's an allergy track and there's an asthma track, and I think both of those are chill. So if you'd have chill kind of in this area, whereas the pneumonia would be fire. So I always, in these situations, I would reach out to Kevin to figure out, you know, am I chill or am I fire? The difference is, you know, chill is like something's happened to the organ and it's frozen, and fire, like when we go into the yin emptiness fire, is like you have burnt that thing out. So it's 2 different states, and you don't want to push further. Chill generally is paired with diarrhea, whereas fire would be paired with constipation. So those are a couple tips for you. So yeah, so these are the tracks, and like I said, you know, it's really good complement to other treatments. You heal faster. Like I had a hernia, like that big size hernia, and I literally played the spleen dampness track overnight because spleen is connected to muscle, and it was gone by morning. So we can heal ourselves. My daughter had like a sore throat and a cough, and I don't know which one I played. Probably sore throat, common cold, and I don't know which other one I played, but it was cleared by morning. And like, I honestly thought she was developing croup, and nobody gets rid of croup in like a couple hours, but she was able to clear it. So there are tools available, and you know, you pair this with a light set from Esogetics, and you can do all kinds of really beautiful things for your family. So I just wanted to share, and I will go back to the presentation, and I think that's it. Okay, so there'll be one more presentation on how to assess yourself using esoteric medicine. Okay, take care. Bye.